Anyone else on this model? I mean, on CRES14? Okay.
Well,
Ms. Martinez.
yeah, I mean, I can definitely see where the conflict is between these two plans. Was very impressed by both, but I'm not sure if Superintendent is speaking about the visit that we both made to communal level and how impressed we both were. I did convene a small group of principals from my district that went out and had about almost 2.5, 3 hour visit at communal level. And just the impression that we walked away with in terms of what good teaching should look like, and little first graders reading at second and third grade level, and when you walk away from a math class, I mean a teacher who's teaching math, and they're using single part math, and it shows when 80% of their students are proficient in math. I haven't seen those types of numbers. I just haven't. I've never witnessed anything like that. So it does give you chills. It does give you a sense of hope and belief that this can be done with a population that so many people give up on. Every single day I hear it's so difficult to teach English learners. It's so difficult to do this because they come with so many different, what people call learning disabilities, and it's not true. It's not true. I mean, I saw it firsthand, and what I walked away with was not only a sense of Camino opening up their doors to my principals and my schools, but they didn't have to, but they did it anyways. And my principals walking away with a sense of like, this is what we all need to do. And there was a real sense of partnership and ability to work with each other, although they're in two very separate geographical areas. My question is, was there an attempt to try to do both at this school? Because I've heard and I witnessed some beautiful examples of collaboration between local district teachers, pilot schools, and charters. Something that I haven't witnessed since I've been on this board. It was very, very beautiful. There's 3 examples of that this afternoon. Why is it that something like that could not have happened at this school, where both entities are learning from each other and that community is getting the best of both worlds? Why can't that happen?
The space just isn't large enough. Mrs. Flores and Ms. Garcia and myself were involved in this, getting the school up, getting the street dealt with. It's divided on 2 sides. It's just small. We couldn't. I even after I visited went back to look at it to see why couldn't I have a primary of one, an elementary of the other. The space is not there. Can't do it.
I don't mind. Thank you, Mr. Cortines. I want to tell you what was some of the most compelling reasons for why I'm making this amendment. One of the things that we have struggled with consistently is our proficiency for many kids, but especially EL kids. So we talk a lot about third grade reading scores, and like 30% of our kids are reading at grade level. When you disaggregate that for EL kids, it's 9%. And here we have a model where Camino Nuevo has closed the gap for ELs. ELs, their API is 840. They have a 96% graduation rate. I am anxious. You all know how impatient I am on this issue. I need a model that works, and we need it right now for these kids. I love that the community came together and worked together in LD4. I want to use that plan to take it to Logan and to the other nearby schools that are struggling for those EL kids and all the other kids. So, Mr. Cortines, we need to figure out how we bring the rest of the innovation to the other nearing schools, which is what many of the parents that spoke to me, where their kids are, or where they are going.
Yeah, I want us to be, and I'm not being a wet blanket, but remember, Camino Nuevo, it's all volunteer. You're taking a neighborhood school, the students that are assigned there. Let me tell you, I was impressed with the parents in listening to them. But they are there because they want to be there. They understand the commitment. You are taking a neighborhood school a neighborhood community that is economically stressed, and they are going to be coming there. And I don't want you to be disappointed that it is not going to be the same, because it isn't. It can be good, but it will not be like that.
Well, we can't give up on it.
No, I'm not giving up.
We have to keep working.
I agree.
Really excellent.
I just want to respond to Ms. Martinez, because I've seen the same thing, and it's very hard for me to, with these kind of results. But I mean, given what the superintendent said, I anticipate that the progress, I think that there's a recognition, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on, between the differences between a school of choice and neighborhood boundary school. We do have to, I want to respond to what Ms. Martinez said, in that that has been one of my great frustrations, but not the folks who worked on this plan. I know the folks that worked on this plan, and I know they believe in our kids. I know that they look at their primary language skills as an asset, not a deficit. I know that they even in looking at their model and the way they've put it together, and I know it's a leap of faith, and I get it, and I think it's a valid disagreement. But I just would say that in this situation, the valid concern that you raised with this group of proposers, this group of teachers, that's not them. And I just want to raise the last point in saying that we do have to remember that there are other impacts to the decisions that we make. And when it's not a close call, I understand. But when we have a close call like this, to me, when we're laying folks off, I'm also going to go with a plan right now, if it's a close call, that is not going to have an economic impact on us. And we do put kids first. And if I didn't think both of these plans put kids first and would serve every child in this community with excellence, I wouldn't do it. But I do think there are two good plans here, and I just want you to know that that's something that weighs on my conscience.
Okay. Are there any other comments from my colleagues right now? Anyone else have anything to say before we ask for a roll call vote? Anybody? Anybody? Yep. Oh, we're gonna have the roll call vote now. Okay. Mr. Crane, please call the vote.
Ms. Flores? Yes vote. Ms. Gallatin? Yes vote. Ms. Lamont? No vote. Ms. Martinez? Yes. Dr. Vladovic?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
No.
Ms. Garcia? Amendment passes.
Mr. Chair, I have an amendment. So I would like to give the opportunity for Local District 4 and Echo Park community partners to exist as a school and task our staff with the opportunity to find them. We have a lot of co-locations. We have a lot of Prop 39. Offers aren't final until April 1st. Folks did a lot of work, and this is a beautiful example of in-district reform and folks coming together. I know that it's connected to Echo Park, so I would just like to give this school the opportunity to, it's the win-win for CRES14. We have two great plans for one facility, and I think we should, so my amendment is to establish this plan as a school and find them space to at least incubate and grow if they want to.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Second by Mr. Zimmer.
When I heard the motion, just to clarify, and I don't want to restate your words, but it's to figure out a way, by amendment, to allow both schools to blossom and to work together. And it's the district's challenge to find that space and make it happen. That's what I heard you say.
Yes, but clearly the board has already got the facility at CRES14 went with Camino Nuevo. Like we saw last year at Gratz, the other plan was able to blossom and grow. And so I'm interested, this school needs a home, and I would like superintendent to engage in a conversation with these stakeholders if there's an interest and can we find space. The plan needs a home. And so if there is an interest, and if they don't want to, then they don't want to. But if they want to, and if we can find an opportunity for them to phase in, I mean, global studies started with 2 grades. If there's a way to take this plan and bring it to, breathe life into it, I'd like to.
Okay, is there any discussion from my colleagues on this? I guess it's an amendment to our...
And I'll just say that this is exactly what we should be doing. When there are great plans, let's find a home for them, and I can offer you a list in the nearby schools that desperately need this plan.
I think it's idealistic and it's impractical. You have too many schools already. You have 30 schools that should be shut down because they are too small. Let me tell you, you cannot afford more schools.
Can I ask you a question, Superintendent?
Sure.
I'm wondering, is there a school that's going to open in 2012 that close to these folks' homes, that maybe this school begins to develop so that it has a home? I mean, we're struggling at our focus schools.
I understand.
And we need we do need another middle school in this area.
There might be a way, and so I think it deserves a chance.
And I think that question should be directed to Dr. Dacey, who will assume the seat. So, yes. Go ahead. Okay, you understand. Is there any more discussion? Okay, Mr. Crane, can we have a roll call vote on Ms. Garcia's amendment?
Ms. Flores.
Addendum, excuse me. Thank you for the correction. Addendum to the amendment that Ms. Flores made.
Ms. Flores.
Okay.
New motion, not an amendment.
This is a second amendment to the motion that's before you on
It's just crazy.
the school.
So,
You can have 2 amendments. This is the second amendment.
okay. Then it is an amendment, so that's what he just said. So,
But you can have a second amendment that's not contradictory to the first.
it's not contradictory, so would you call the roll?
Yes. Ms. Flores. Yes vote. Ms. Gallitson. A yes vote. Ms. Lamont.
No.
Ms. Martinez. Dr. Vladovic.
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer.
Yes.
Ms. Garcia.
Yes.
Thank you. That amendment passes.
Just stay away from me.
Okay. Board members, we're now on South Region Elementary School.